Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick Del Rosario. I am the program coordinator for the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center. It is nice to have you join me this afternoon so that we can talk about Social Sciences 197, which is our professional internship course. Okay, so we're going to talk about how you can get academic credit for those internship opportunities that you're going to be getting remotely through the academic year. Okay, so just a really quick overview, what does it mean to get academic credit for internships? Well, as you know, you have a unit requirement that you're trying to satisfy while you're here at UCI, which is going to be 180 units. So for most people, this is going to satisfy your elective credit requirement. So that's 180 units that you need to graduate, and this is going to count for those extra courses that are not going to be your core courses or not going to be one of your major requirements. It's just that extra course so that you don't have to take something like Dance 3 or something like some other class that you may or may not want to take. So this one will allow you to get academic credits for doing that internship. Okay. So what is it exactly? Well, really what it is, it's a supplemental course to you taking the internship, right? So if you did want to learn a little bit more about the nuances about what does it mean to actually be in the job field, or if you need additional help in getting your resume checked or needing to write a cover letter, if your internship did not require a cover letter, the assignments that are actually going to be put into this course are geared towards helping you develop yourself as a young professional. So the assignments are going to have you do a reflection about the internship itself. So asking you, what do you think about the internship? What are your experiences like? What are your interactions like? Because what we really want to do is we want to foster that idea that when you're actually in the internship, it's not enough to simply just do the work and get the experience, but it's also your place to have and build networks. So that way you have the potential of building people that you can speak to or building people that you can talk to who will help you through the entire job process. Now, all of these different assignments that are in this course are going to be very simple. They're either journal entries or they're going to be quick assignments of things that you've already completed, like your resume. So there aren't going to be any quizzes or any midterms or anything like that for the entire process, because our main goal is that you actually get the most out of the internship experience that you're going to have. So again, it is going to be something that is supplemental. The steps to enroll in the course is, first of all, to secure an internship. So if you do have places that you need to find an internship, you can definitely use the Division of Career Pathways Handshake portal to find internships. For those of you who haven't used it, we can go ahead and do a quick demo about how to use it towards the end of the presentation. And I'll also show you where our SSARC internship database is, which are internships that we've actually worked with in the past. Some of these internships may not be the same that's on the Division of Career Pathways Handshake portal, but they're definitely internships that you may want to consider going for. In addition to that, you can also look at any other internship place that you're going to be needing to find your internship. So things like Indeed, Monster, LinkedIn, or any of those different places. You can also find an internship through that way as well. In order to get your internship approved for Social Sciences 197, you'll need to apply for authorization. And when I show you where the internship database for SSARC is in the future, you'll be able to see where that application form is. Typically, when you turn in an application form, you're going to be needing to have an offer letter from the place that you're actually applying to. So typically, most places are going to be giving you some kind of information that outlines your work responsibilities, the amount of hours that you're going to be working on a weekly basis, and also how long the duration of your internship is going to take place. So for Social Sciences 197, you have the ability to take this course upwards to 8 units. And we'll talk about what units are like when I talk about enrolling in the course, but essentially you're able to actually enroll in Social Sciences 197 for 2 quarters if you wanted to. When it comes to enrolling into the course, it is pretty simple. You just have to know what the unit requirements are. So if you are enrolling for, you have a variable course units that you can enroll into. So it's either 2 or 4 units, depending on the amount of hours that you're going to be working at the internship. So say, for example, you're doing 50 hours within a quarter, and that's going to basically be 5 hours per week in the 10-week quarter. You're going to be enrolling into 2 units. And that's if you're doing 50 hours minimum. So if you're doing 100 hours minimum, then you're going to be enrolling into 4 units for that entire time period. So thinking back about the application to the course itself, if you have the ability to take this course upwards to 8 units, that means technically you could do 4 quarters of 2 units, each at 50 hours a quarter, if you have a very piled up schedule where you're not able to fit a full 10 hours within that quarter. So you could do it 4 times if you do it each at 2 units, or you could just do it straight up where most of our students are doing it, where it's 4 units per quarter and you just do it twice per quarter to get the academic credit. Okay. So there are differences that I did mention. So in regards to certain majors or certain student types, you're going to be needing to have Social Science 197. So for example, I've already mentioned that this is an alternative course for elective credit. But if you were an international studies major, this is actually something that is part of your degree requirements. So they have this experiential degree requirement where you're able to either do study abroad or you're going to be doing some kind of internship with an international focus. And in this case, especially with this particular time, you're going to be wanting to probably consider this as an option, and study abroad is probably a little bit more limited right now. And we're not exactly sure what the future is going to look like in regards to that. So at least for those of you who are international studies majors, consider this as an option for that degree requirement. And if you happen to be an international student, international students require an extra part of their application process where they're going to be needing to apply for CPT, which is a curricular practice training. I believe it's a curricular practice training, but essentially what it is it's an authorization that allows you to get a temporarily work visa so that you're able to actually work off of campus. Now, for those of you who are international students, if you're not working off of campus, you do not need CPT. But if you are working off campus, CPT is going to be required. And one of those requirements is actually to take this course as well. So please make sure to keep that in mind for anyone who is looking to take Social Science 187 or does require CPT as well. Okay. All right, so with that being said, let me go ahead and walk you through some of the different parts of our online platform so you can kind of get an idea where some of this information is going to be held. Let me temporarily stop share, and then I will open up a SARC thing here. Okay. All right. So here we are. We're going to be on our website here, the SARC website. It's just ssarc.socsci.uci.edu. And if you've never been to our website before, this is where you can get a lot of different information in regards to like graduate school and research. But for us, we're specifically looking at our internships tab. Okay. So this is the internship database that I mentioned before. So you can see that there's a lot of different on-campus and off-campus opportunities that we are going to be highlighting. But in addition to that, these are different internships that we worked with in the past, and it's really simple to just kind of find out how to apply to some of these places. If you were to just say, for example, just click on any one of these things here, it's going to open up to a PDF page that has information about the internship, the different qualifications, and a little bit more important, how to actually apply for the internship as well. Now, a lot of these places, you're probably going to be needing to actually just send an email directly to the person who's in charge. We are currently in the process of updating this database because it's been a year since we've actually updated. So some people, as you know, in the job market might actually change their position. So that person may be different. So we'll be updating this as it comes regularly. Now, in addition to that, there's also different places on campus that you may want to consider looking at. These are internships that are available throughout the entire campus, right? So if you're looking at UCI applied innovation or any of the volunteer programs, food service, marketing management, these are the different places that you might want to consider applying to. For UCI, you may or may not get academic credit. It really just depends on a case-by-case basis because some of these opportunities already give academic credit, so you're not going to be able to get academic credit twice for the same opportunity. For example, UCDC has its own way of giving units. So you wouldn't be able to apply Social Sciences 197, but this is definitely going to be a good resource for you if you're looking for additional opportunities. We also have different opportunities here for other off-campus opportunities that are not ones that we've worked with, but they're linked directly to the companies that you may want to work for, organized just by specific fields. So for example, business management, these are just internships that we kind of saw that we compiled together to just see where their career pages are. Little do people know that you can actually find internships and different careers or jobs through the actual website itself for these particular companies. One of the examples that I like to always use, which is a much more local company for us, is Blizzard. So for example, if you look at Blizzard career, there should be, let's see here. Blizzard is just a gaming company, and their local campus is actually right next to UC Irvine. So if you were to look here, you could see that there is careers. There should be one that's specific to college students. Let me actually type it in this way. Blizzard College Internship. There we go. Internship programs. If you type in internship programs at any big company that you may want to consider working for or applying to, there often is some kind of college level program that you might be able to join in, because a lot of the different big companies are also looking for people to kind of apply to them and work for them during this time period. If you're a sophomore or junior, I think seniors, it's a little bit more limited in those options. They most likely are looking for people who are a little bit younger, so it kind of gives you the idea to grow into the position. It's not guaranteed, but sometimes these internship programs often lead to some kind of full-time job afterwards. So it's something to consider, okay? So that's where our internship database is. And at the same time, you can also see more information about the course and just information about how to actually enroll. So you can see that this is like one of the more important parts here would be the enrollment process. This is the form that I was describing that can tell you a little bit more about how to actually enroll into the course. And then where is the units? Course information. So then this is also here, the course information that kind of outlines what the different unit requirements are going to be depending on how many hours you actually work for the internship itself. Okay, so I know that's quite a bit of information, but that's essentially most of what you need to know about the internship course itself. There are different things that we do at SARC as well to help you develop all of your documents for applying to these internships. So if you needed help with creating a resume or a cover letter, that is definitely something that we can also help you with. You just need to set up an appointment with us. And you can find that information as well on our website. If you just go, that's our About Us. Let's go here, the homepage. You can see like all around our website, there's a lot of places to actually schedule an appointment. So you can actually meet with us one-on-one. You can either meet with myself, you can meet with my colleague Carissa, or you can meet with any of our peer consultants throughout the academic year, and they can help you out with that. Okay. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open up the floor to some questions, and I can see that a couple have actually come into. So let's see what questions we have. Nice. Yes, thank you. Outside of SOCSCI 197, any general tips on attaining an internship in terms of making yourself a strong applicant? Okay. Yeah. So essentially, strong applicant. Well, so there's a lot of schools of thought for this one, right? Because sometimes when you're trying to apply for an internship, if you don't have a lot of internship experience or any type of work experience, it's kind of like, how do you make yourself stand out? And really what it is just trying to find other leadership positions on campus. If you can, do some volunteer outside of the university, or you just have to kind of put yourself out there and just see if you can get some kind of position. The great thing that it is about internships in regards to being a student is that most of these places are going to know and recognize that you may or may not have a lot of different experiences. So they're going to be considering you not just based on the experiences that you have, but based on the actual personality and the know-how of, or the motivation that you have to be wanting to work at a particular place, right? But it would definitely be much better supplemented if you were to join an organization and actually uphold a leadership position. And what that means is like majority of your student organizations are going to have some kind of board. You don't want to necessarily be just a member. You want to be somebody who's part of that board. But the thing is that even if you are a member, you have to think about different ways that you can contribute to leadership. So are you going to be providing a lot of suggestions about how to run your operations? Are you going to be thinking about different ways that you can grow your group so that maybe you would be considered for a leadership position, but at the same time, you're still using those skills and abilities to be able to show some form of leadership, right? That's kind of the things that you need to do to make sure that you are a strong applicant. It's really just trying to put yourself out there. And I think it also does depend on a case-by-case basis. So you may want to consider probably meeting with me, and then we can kind of talk about what kinds of ways that you can actually show yourself to be a strong applicant. Okay. In terms of applying to independent sites. So I think this is from the same person just asking about how to be a strong applicant in regards to independent sites. So If you're looking at a particular internship that you want to apply to, and say, for example, you have a general resume, one of the best rules of thumbs is to actually create your resume based on the job description of the place that you're applying to. Now, that does sound like it could potentially be um, a huge amount of work. And in reality, it kind of is, because what you're doing is you're taking one basic resume and you're going to be kind of tailoring it to different places. So let's say, for example, you were looking at our internship database and you wanted to work in accounting, finance, and business management, right? What you can actually do is that you can have one resume that's going to be related towards accounting and finances, and then one resume that's related to business management. And essentially, all that you're doing is that you're looking at the different job responsibilities and qualifications and seeing what kinds of things that you have. Now, let's take a look here. For example, responsibilities of updating and managing the accounts and contacts in Salesforce account. So for this particular thing, you might need somebody who's pretty knowledgeable in database usage. I'm pretty sure Salesforce is some kind of like database organizational system. So if you have some kind of Excel background, you should be fine. Creating basic financial models, probably someone that has the ability to do some planning ahead. Investment presentations. If you have some kind of presentation skills behind you, you probably want to highlight that on a resume. If you have any type of marketing or some kind of design aspects to it, you'd want to highlight that on your resume. Researching and collecting data points could also be something that's related to classwork, or if you're doing some kind of work where you needed to research different companies, or you needed to like say, for example, if you're working in a club and you needed to research different options for fundraising opportunities, that's some kind of researching and collecting data in some capacity. At the same time, you're also looking at liaison work and trying to work with different companies to build big events. So you have event planning underneath your belt. That's something that you might want to consider in regards to writing your resume. You'll notice that the qualifications here aren't necessarily too specific, and they can apply to anyone really. Maybe the most specific one is business major, but other than that, Excel is definitely a general tool that some people need. This is a soft skill that people would need. This is a soft skill as well. Self-starter could be anyone who's just regularly motivated, or somebody who wants to do something on their own, somebody who's independent. Fast-paced environment is also a soft skill that you can highlight. So you can see that the things that they're actually asking for in regards to who could be an intern for them is much more general. And you can kind of think of these duties and responsibilities as something that you may have, but it's also the thing that they're going to be training you in, because as the nature of an internship is, it's to help you develop and learn about these things as you're going through the internship itself. Okay. If I've completed an internship course at community college, would it be supplement of SOCSCI 197? So for this particular question, it kind of depends if the internship course is something that's part of your degree. So social sciences 197 is not a requirement. Again, it is something that's used for elective credit. So if anything, that internship course may be able to translate into units. I'm pretty sure an internship or a community college course is equivalent to like 1.5 units of your academic overall credit or overall units. And that's something that you'd want to confirm with an academic advisor. But your internship course is not something that directly overlaps with social sciences 197. Social sciences 197 is something that's kind of separate from everything else that you need to do. Because again, it is only going to be done for elective credit. Okay. Is there anything else that you might have questions about? Oh, okay. So there is somebody asking questions about what is it like to take the internship course during summer. So you do actually, let me go ahead and show you where this is. Enrollment process. So our enrollment process for summer is a little bit different. And I believe that enrollment for summer session 2 has already ended. So you're most likely looking for summer of 2021. But essentially what you're going to be doing for social sciences 197 in the summer is you're going to still be using the same enrollment form. And then instead of enrolling through the, I think it's WebSoc, is that the name of I'm pretty sure that's the name of where you actually need to enroll in your classes. So instead of enrolling in WebSoc, you're actually going to be needing to enroll in summer session. So summer session is where you would actually be applying, or not applying, but that's where you would actually enroll. And you will be still needing to pay for the summer fees. that applies. So that is something to take into consideration. For me, I would say that if you want to avoid any type of summer fee, it's probably best to try to do these internships during the academic year, but that's only if you really want credit. So keep in mind that this, because it is for academic credit, you don't necessarily need to enroll in Social Sciences 197 to have an internship. Some internships will actually require that you do get academic credit for it, and that's part of the reason why this course exists. So you will, like this will kind of help you get the internship opportunities if they do require that as well. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it is WebSoc. All right. Any additional questions about that? Do you think doing an internship is useful for someone planning on going to graduate school, doing a career in research, or would it be more beneficial to focus on being a research assistant in labs on campus? There's there's that school of thought, right, where any type of opportunity that you can get, as long as you can handle it and balance it together, is important for you to have, right? So if you can happen to do an internship opportunity while doing research, while doing your classes, while being involved on campus, then yes, absolutely, that's something that you would want to try to do. Because the skill set that you get from an internship is different from the skill set that you get from research, right? The internship will provide you with in-job work experience, interacting with different people, and specifics about the job that you might be doing in the future, while research is going to give you that academic experience about doing a lot of literature reviews, how to find information in different databases and archives, and putting it all together into one large report. So if you don't do a lot of reporting in the internship that you're doing, then the research that you're going to be doing is going to be prevalent in developing your skills from that aspect. And that's not to say that in these internships, you're not going to do research, or in research, you're not going to be getting any job experience, but it's really just a matter of what kinds of things are you going to be doing, right? So let's say, for example, that you wanted to be a psychologist, right? You want to be a psychologist, so you want to try to find an internship that is probably in behavioral therapy, or you might want to see if you can be an intern for like Alcoholics Anonymous, or something where you're kind of helping people through their mental health. But at the same time, you were interested in brain and memory, so you want to join a research lab that's based on brain and memory. One of the benefits to doing both, if you have the ability to, is that you'll be able to find connections between how these two things interact. So even just thinking from the forefront, you might be working in some kind of like addiction abuse clinic, and then maybe you think, oh, how does addiction and abuse actually affect memory? And then you do your research on memory and addiction abuse, you know, like, so those are the kinds of things that you can kind of combine together and see if you can develop yourself to be a much more well-rounded individual. So if your goal is to do graduate school, then you can see that having both of those things on your resume or your curriculum vitae would be very beneficial, because it shows you to have a much more well-rounded background in it. Of course, that does depend on whether or not you're going to have the time to be able to do that. A lot of people may have different restraints from home, or they might be doing other things that may restrain them from being able to focus on everything at once. So if you do want to plan it out, you might want to plan out, okay, if I'm a second year, then maybe I'll do an internship all throughout my third year, try to get as many internships as I can, and then through my fourth year, I can do it. But if you're somewhere later in your academic career, then you might want to consider, do you have the ability and mental capacity to be able to do both at the same time? Okay, so that's something that you might want to consider doing. Is it okay to do both? I would say yes. If you can only do one, that's just as good. You can explain some of the stuff information in your graduate school applications through the personal statement, or sometimes there's like a section in the application that describes, is there anything else that you would like to tell us about? You know, and that's probably something that you can describe there as well. Okay. Any other final questions? All right. So if there are no final questions, all right. So if you do have any additional questions, even beyond this, about Social Sciences 197, about internships, about graduate school, or anything like that, our office is still going to be open during summer, since we're doing these workshops anyway. You can actually reach us virtually through our website or even through email. If you, again, you can see on our website about how to actually make an appointment with us. If you do have a general email, or if you want to send your resume to us just to do a review, you can go ahead and send it at ssarc.uci.edu. And please make sure to follow us through all of our different social media platforms. This presentation will be posted on our YouTube channel. So if you wanted to look back on it and just kind of see where the presentation is, you can definitely check that out. But if there are no additional questions, that's pretty much it for today. So thank you for coming, and you'll be hearing from me shortly with information about all the stuff that we talked about today in an email. All right. So bye, everyone. Have a good day.